Welcome to UEOM Internet Church, founder Christina Universe Citizen, on September 1st, 2024. At UEOM Internet Church, metaphysical intellect, as a function of omnirational universe, consciously coordinates thought and language and conceptualizes synergetics as general systems, which are integrally relevant to comprehending potential applicability of universe's minimum structural systems, self-regenerating eternal patterning integrity. The acronym UEOM reads Universe Eternal Omniscient Mind. Christina Universe Citizen, founder of UEOM, continues to be intuitively inspired by our Buckminster Fuller's 20th century discovery of nature's coordinate systems, cosmic accounting, and the closest approach humans will ever know to eternity in God, UEOM, Universe, Eternal, Omniscient Mind, which is zero pulsation in the vector equilibrium. Vector equilibrium is a system. It is not a structure in its own right. Its 24 vectors connect centers of a symmetrical cluster of 12 around one spheres. Each sphere is a model of a field of energy. The sphere's forces tend to coordinate themselves momentarily in positive or negative asymmetrical patterns. The asymmetrical patterns are relative to but never congruent with the vector equilibrium zero frequency and one frequency edge modules. Identically in angular relationship and length, the connecting vectors are at the centers of adjacent spheres, which at minimum is 12 around one omnidirectional closest packed spheres, to which a second layer of 42 uniradius spheres can be added, making a two-frequency system, to which a third layer of 92 unit radius spheres makes a three-frequency system. Synergetics figure 222.01. Equation for omnidirectional closest packing of spheres illustrates these configurations. At the third layer of 92 spheres is an inherent potential of 8 new nuclei which cannot be activated until each potential nucleus is omnidirectionally enclosed with additional closest packed spheres. Imaginably, this closest packing sphere layering environment provides metaphysical generalized conceptioning fields of thoughts, omnirational, omnidirectional, anticipatory, design science, ever newly conceivable, self-regenerating realities, complex cosmic accounting that is unlike anything before synergetic minds intuitively motivated exodus from the perniciously self-other invalidating histories of planet Earth's manifest erudition of the reenacting tolerance magnitudes of the P, R, J, W, B, C, H, M. The P, R, J, W, B, C, H, M, politics, religion, justice, war, belief complexes, hierarchical matrix limits our intelligent species, potential omni-rational inspired consciousness evolution, as humans are designed in principle by universe eternal omniscient mind not to suffer endless self-other enmity, making perpetual invalidations and defensive reactions to those insidious reenacting articulations. Omni-rationally inclined curiosity wonders when UEOM self-testing of such perverse configurations decides enough is enough. For what purpose other than a self-testing by universe eternal omniscient mind is such a waste of metaphysical intellects, human brains, limited lifetimes experienced energy? What does it take before millenniums of the reenacting articulations that increase the tolerance magnitudes of the residual inaccuracies of observation and articulation for UEOM to provide metaphysical intellect in any day and age with the essential conceptual tools to alter the courses of human self-otherness and validating destructiveness? In whose lifetime can our humanity expect cosmic inspirations to take precedence during human imagination's inherent ability to formulate conceptually that automatically reduces the tolerance magnitudes of the residual inaccuracies of observation and articulation? Apparently, from all indications, systemic thought requires the genius of a mathematical geometer, as of when its manifest potential occurred in the 20th century, subsequent to all the previously contributing design, science, mathematical geniuses. They also had to endure the status quo's denigrating by its predominantly physical superiority of power before nature's coordinate system was discovered by our Buckminster Fuller, coincidental to the computer's computations that were technically impossible prior to computer invention and popularized use of this relatively new technological tool. But those innovations rely on the already established institutions of highest learning that apparently favored the inherited measuring system using the XYZ coordinate analysis and CGTS established parameters, which according to Synergetics 223.83 were procedurally assumed to present the comprehensively constant limit set, including the decimal system's mensuration input factors, prior to Max Planck finding a constant energy value in the photon, discovering correlations of it with experiments by others. In many essential instances of clarifying differently initiated worldviews by academia's highest education institutions, its funded faculties continue to omit by PRJWBCM default preferences the omnidirectional, omnirational, integral, conceptual, metaphysical, physical universe. In that reenacting habituation, it is unthinkable to officially sidestep the PRJW factors, which militarize anticipatory functions correlatively with self-serving funding by highly successful people whose enormous fortunes rely on the PRJWBCHM with supposedly God-ordained righteousness emanating from the depths of the imposed indebtedness carried over and into every subsequent partially overlapping generation of humans on Earth, made worse when AI controls were implemented to facilitate the machination. Locating the source of insidious scheming can seem to be irrelevant once the replacement geometrical model of energy configuration and synergetics can be conceptually developed from a symmetrical cluster of spheres. Besides, geodesics and irrelevance is one of the always and only coexisting complementarities that physics has found, as is differentiation and integration. Synergetics 205.00 vector equilibrium. But awareness of the inherited detrimental human conditions coincided with Christina Universe Citizen writing the PRJWBCH acronym, which inspires the necessity of discovering a comparative matrix's acronym for this anticipatory design scientist to ponder, eventuating with correlating and renaming the sound word God, naming it Universe Eternal Omniscient Mind, UEOM, which would have been impossible without R. Buckminster Fuller's synergetics explorations in the geometry of thinking and rudimentary awareness of the isotropic vector matrix operational field complex cosmic hierarchy, UIVMOFCH. Actually, Christina Universe Citizen's PRJWBCHM awareness, developing from the contextual parameter, took a lifetime of observing what was made known of those reenacting articulations from personal experience, recorded histories, and contemporary scenarios. It combines as a type of evidentiary value that includes millenniums of human behavior, encapsulating volumes of manifest forms into an easily recallable acronym that changed in the process, including and excluding M for military and S for societal, not having to detail each and every catastrophic human event on the world stage by differently officiating actors. Among the irreversible succession of self-regenerative human events is EISEDP. Experiences, intuition, speculations, experiments, discoveries, productions, synergetics 502.22. This altogether comprises previous manifest scenarios prior to, subsequently informed awareness of the vector equilibrium. The vector equilibrium is the empty theater and empty universe to accommodate any actions, reactions, resultants as cosmically informed metaphysical intellect recognizes this new phase of comprehension unlike previously accepted, established norms espoused by institutions of highest learning that, oddly enough, placate irresolute conundrums despite the perverse histories and destructive courses throughout which previous generations also suffered, as if the design of humans is to subject each other to suffering and sacrifice as a God-ordained, inescapable hindrance despite logical and common sense by intuitively inquisitive intellection, which for the most part is kept to oneself out of fear of being obliterated, excommunicated, annihilated, destroyed in every way, shape, and form in order for the PRJW militarized societal status quos to survive. Consciousness evolution's universal communications process at the centers of energy rebirths refers to the isotopic vector matrices, vector equilibriums, which the 21st century generations can see illustrated in Synergetics color plate number 9. Initially, Synergetic Mind's rudimentary awareness of this utterly alien, albeit self-educating language is both assured and yet potentially dismayed when learning of the whole world, whole society, civic listening network, subsequent to feeling confident that the vector equilibrium is relative to conceptualizing closest packed unit radius spheres that, well, may be consistently applicable to metaphysical intellect's anticipatory design science realities. The whole of society censorship of free speech model is based on 4 quadrants tying together 4 different categories of institutions that intend seamlessly fusing into a basic network the nucleus of a single cell, according to Mike Benz, executive director of the Foundation for Freedom Online. The 4 categories assume a unique, common censorship pressuring resource. 1. Government institutions. 2. Private sector institutions, that is, tech platforms, blue chip company, corporate social responsibility funds, or private censorship mercenary funds using pressure toward a common censorship outcome. 3. Civil society, university centers, NGOs, those nonprofit and activist groups. 4. Allied news media and fact-checking organizations. Mike Benz's philosophy and personal quest for the recent prevalent years of this determination is to create a whole of society freedom bloc that unites allies on the internet advocating for free speech within government, within the private sector, allies within civil society, and allies within the media, including Elon Musk's X Thought Leader platform. Mike Benz, executive director of the Foundation for Freedom Online, designates X as a political thought leadership platform. However, doesn't such less than consciously coordinated systemic thought potentially inhibit any synergetically informed hopes of successful distribution of essential knowledge while it remains within and maintains the obsolete PRJWPCHM self-perpetuating parameters, since that matrix was contextually initiated millenniums ago, emanating from the womb of permitted ignorance, and seems to have subconsciously coordinated oppositely directed culminations for contemporary freedom-aspiring humans who are designed in principle by UEOM to experimentally correlate conceptualities of the most economic way a system can behave relative to unity and self in universe referentially to the minimum structural system of universe, eventually obsoleting the persistent freedom and validating constraints is an anticipatory designed function integrally to consciously eliminating the slave mentality conditioning everywhere on Earth. Historically, all roads seem to have led to AI-generated language controls. AI language controls correlate preferential word use and censoring. AI education invalidates nomenclature in the lexicons of innovated word formulation that has always been communicated between humans for many uses, including survival admonitions, triggering the flight and fear reactions before it is too late. It does not also have to be the flight or fight reaction when informed of the conceptualities that are independent of size, where it is size alone that can come to zero, not the conceptuality referential to cosmic to local metaphysical generalized conceptioning fields of thoughts, recognizing the inherent resolutions to nuclei of the closest packing spheres and the inviolable integrity of the individual. Humans are individual observers of otherness, which is the environment. The environment now includes AI innovations that are differentiating machines for all its innovators' intentions and purposes, which is not naturally integrating, consciously coordinating thought language of synergetically mindful humans. Consequently, AI will always be unnatural to our consciousness evolution's metaphysical generalized conceptioning fields of thought, as our cerebral circuitry design works in a potentially discoverable synchronous accord with synergetic mind, which is purposely hoping to reduce the tolerance magnitudes of the reenacting residual inaccuracies of observation and articulation. We can now include the incredible memorization of Mike Benz's chess set moves from square one, but apparently it excludes universe, and so this signals an oversight that metaphysical intellect as a function of omnirational universe recognizes referentially to a high-frequency constellation of event points, and what all spheres consist, approximately equidistant from one central point. Synergetics 224.07 spheric. Even a rudimentary awareness of a high-frequency constellation of event points induces further curiosity into the term constellation that we may take for granted, or do not yet fully comprehend its definition. At any rate, lag rates between apprehension and comprehension included. One definition leads to an etymological journey that eventually points to correlating words such as, for instance, configuration and constellation. A configuration is a type of arrangement, organization, a system. A constellation is a group of stars that form a recognized pattern, typically named after a mythological figure or other figures. Personally, I find those interrelating star point naming mythological figures disturbing and distracting on a night sky illustrated projection which seems to be appealing to people who study the stars in a configuration as seen from the Earth by the astronomer physicists who study astronomy from Astronomy 101. Cosmologists study the evolution and space-time relations of universe, spelled in lowercase, not universe that equals metaphysical times physical. U equal MP, synergetics 162. Many people do not differentiate Earth from Earth. And this also tells us more about emanations from the womb of permitted ignorance. When Earth concerned earlier humans who, according to Oxford University Press Dictionary, distinguished Earth from heaven and the afterlife when they considered the church to be independent of the world and the earth the abode of mortals, as contrasted with heaven or hell, which is the up of heaven and the down of hell, mindlessly of omnidirectional universe, and the only three directions in, out, and around. Consciousness evolution is synergetically advantaged by knowing tetrahedron turns inside out, as does our Buckminster Fuller's demonstration of one rubber glove when peeled off the opposite hand, fitting outside inside on the other hand. Synergetics 507.01. Obviously, such considerations continue, omitting by educated ignorance, universe, and synergetic mind's awareness that humans oscillate between our metaphysical propensities and physical incarnations, as well as logically identify metaphysical as eternal, since the physical begins and ends, not the metaphysical conceptual. The metaphysical is independent of time. Metaphysical life vanishes at the moment of death, when no weight is lost and only the chemistries remain, respecting recent discoveries of the physical brain staying active for hours after death. See Medical Life Science News. Dr. Ananya Mondel. Until next time, thank you from Christina Universe Citizen.